Hi guys, we're just waiting for the session to start, and in the meantime, what we've got is we've just got a little montage, which is on our video of just some photographs that we have on the event. So we'll let that play while we wait for the attendees to attend. We've got a good attendance today, so it might take a few minutes for people to come in. And yeah, we've got myself and Julian today. So hi Julian, how are you feeling today, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. And hopefully you can hear me because I'm used to Teams, not Zoom, but hopefully it's all going well technically.
Well, fingers crossed. We can't hear the attendees, so hopefully they can hear us all well. So
Yeah.
great stuff. Yeah, and it's done it again. Look,
It
good old
stopped, hasn't it?
PowerPoint.
Paused.
Yeah, it is
Hmm.
pausing. I think it's because I haven't got focus on it. We'll keep it going. So
Yeah.
we did enjoy our time in Velocicoasters. We have to
No,
thank
I
Qlik
didn't.
for
I
that one.
didn't. I didn't do. I didn't do. I actually had to show my other half and the kids it on YouTube just to
Oh right, just
explain the pain you put me through, and they all found it hilarious, by the way, and also said they really want to go on it.
yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
Well, I enjoyed it at least, but I
I
like
know you did.
Velocicoasters.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. To everybody else on the call, all the
Yeah.
attendees, Qlik kindly allowed us to get access to Universal after it had closed. So we had the run of the park. So that was a really good time of 3 hours, just jumping from ride to ride. So yeah, that was it was nice. It was a really good event. So and then we've just got a montage. So if you think why am I looking at Harry Potter pictures and of Universal, well, that's because we were. So it feels like there's a lot of Universal pictures in there, Julian. So
It does look at Universal heavy that. Let's not rub it
it
in
does.
for everybody. There's me just about to hit par on the golf course as well. So
Oh yeah, that was thanks to Inform Software, wasn't it? AKA Visilib. So they've just purchased those
yes,
guys.
yeah.
But yes, we did have actually proper seminars and such. So we did learn a lot of things, which is what today is about. So we've got some. Looks like we
Absolutely.
stopped coming in now, attendees. So we will start, and we'll stop talking about how much fun we had. Um, so welcome. So you got myself, Lee, and co-host on here. Would you want to introduce yourself, Julian?
Yeah, I'm Julian Ruck, delivery director at Catalyst. I've been here about 4 years. I think there's people in attendance who probably know me, but essentially I look after all the projects at Catalyst on the BI side, with the data management team, the data analytics team, and the data science team all reporting into me.
Yeah, thank you, Gillian. And yeah, so I've been with Catalyst since the very beginning, one of the co-founders. So and do everything that's tech, given the title, and pre-sales. So we'll just spend 30 seconds on this. I think a lot of people on the call already know what we do. We do data management, data analytics, and data science over different technology stacks, and that's our strap line. We like to unlock insights, drive performance, and create value, hopefully bringing people and data together and becoming more data literate. So our session today is really straightforward introductions, which we've already done. Introduction to Catalyst BI for we've got one or two people who maybe don't know Catalyst, so we'll spend 30 seconds on that, and then we'll get into the guts of it about what we found it connects. So this is very much a Julian and I view of life. So we might do a caveat. We don't need a legal caveat, but this is our view. Some things will be open to change, basically, depending on what the roadmap and how Qlik deliver the items on the roadmap that we are about to share with you. But before that, let's just go quickly introduce Catalyst. We were founded in 2014. Currently, we've got about 64. In fact, I think that's just 65 as of Monday. We've got new guys starting on Monday. When we deliver integration warehousing, master data management, so data quality and MDM, analytics and science, and that's over the different technology stack. Today we're talking about Qlik and purely Qlik. Um, our values and DNA, you can see there, we work quite openly, quite collaboratively, and that's underpinned with this ethos of looking at honesty, integrity, and trust. We like to work with customers very tightly as an extended team, and if you don't have those three things, we don't it doesn't work. But we've got the rest of those around that. What do we mean by honesty, integrity, and trust? And hopefully that's our core values. Um, from a offering perspective, it's just more of a logo splash more than anything else. If a technology splash, data integration, and management, we use Talent, Soligo, Snowflake, and obviously Qlik now, or Qlik Talent. Oh, I've just done a spoiler there, Julian. We've got data analytics, which we use Qlik and Microsoft, so Microsoft BI and Qlik. And data science, we use Robot Qlik, which we'll learn a lot more about today about their future, as well as Microsoft, and we're a Microsoft Gold partner, as well as a Qlik Elite partner. Um, we are award winning. Great. We like to pat ourselves on the back, don't we, Julian? Partner of the year. And let's just get straight into it.
Yeah,
Julian, do you want to kind of go over that kind of our first session, which I think we found very interesting indeed?
absolutely. Do you want to just knock the slide on, Lee, if that's
Yeah,
okay?
sure.
So, in terms of the summary, I mean, the opening session, it's Katie Linendoll, I believe it's pronounced, who's a very high energy individual. She set the scene for the conference, and then Mike Capone came on. He was talking about AI, which was a buzz term for the 3 days. But his key thing was he was stressing the importance of trusting the data. So while we've got these, fantastic AI products which we'll talk about later, etc., he was still very, very keen to put in there that it's so important to have this basis of data, and we've got a catchphrase there: your success in AI that achieves sustainable value begins and ends with data mastery, and that was something that comes through. And when we talk about some of the products, etc., that will come through. AI was the buzz term of the sessions and the connections generally. But it was a clear message that the data foundation needs to be right. And then you add AI to it. And then we talked about, just some standard examples, but just how powerful data is, the use of data. So we had some examples here of, an organization saving circa $600 million in year one, or in 1 year, using Qlik. Urban Outfitters was referenced, where they're using Qlik in 650 plus stores globally to analyze stock and sales, etc. And then another organization, who's again, able to perform so much better on preventative maintenance just through the use of Qlik. Again, just sort of setting that scene of where we've seen some real high value from the use of the technologies. Be okay to do not the next screen on there,
Yeah,
Lee?
absolutely.
So I guess one of the things that a lot of people on this will be really interested in is the new product announcement. So Lee sort of alluded to one, which was Qlik Talent Cloud. We'll talk about this in more detail, but in summary, a modern code, no code, pro code platform to create basically a trusted foundation for analytics and operations. And we'll go into this a little bit deeper. There's a really, really good demo that was shown to us. Some really, great stuff. I've been in BI 25 years, which makes me sound really old, but actually I used to do a lot of ETL work. And though I'm less hands-on personally with that now, it was quite exciting to see the product up there and some of the things we'll talk about later. And I think the other thing then on a lot of people's lips was Qlik Answers, which is basically Qlik's new Gen I product, which works over unstructured data. And again, a really good demo given on that. And bear in mind, when they're doing these demos, they're doing it to a worldwide audience. They're doing it to maybe, I don't know, 2,000 people in the room, whatever number it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on them. And actually, it went, really, really well, and was really, good. And you could, judge the crowd's reaction to it, etc. It was all
It was
very,
good,
very good.
wasn't it?
It
There was a
was,
bit of a bit
yeah,
of a yeehaw moment and a lot of clapping when people
yeah,
saw Gen AI of finally we've got unstructured data into Qlik, which
exactly.
is new. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. On a side point, there was some strategic collaborations in play. Qlik and AWS Qlik and Snowflake. Uh, the Qlik and AWS, those guys were quite tight, weren't they, Lee? In terms of there
Mm,
was, there's a
very
couple
much.
of they sponsored some things, they talked, they gave presentations. There was clearly a strong collaboration there. There was also an announcement of a Qlik AI Council, and I think that's really to provide sort of guidance and thought leadership on AI responsibility. I think this is something Qlik takes quite seriously. It does see that there's a sort of, a progressive AI group in, and one where it's more of a, do we almost need to put the brakes on this a little bit? Where's it going to take us to? And, people almost fearing the Terminator type stuff. So they put together this AI council. They did speak together as a group. Four obviously very experienced, and I haven't got all the names to hand, apologies, but four very experienced individuals, all with their own views. But it was just, it was interesting and a sign of the times that Qlik was, putting this forward and making it quite front and center. Because these guys had a session in play where they talked about, the I guess some of the responsibility that sits around AI. So that was all, very, very useful to see.
Yeah, and I think we have to be responsible with AI. We've been doing data science at Catalyst now for over 2 years, and yeah, I think that the bias and the algorithms that you use, and especially with the EU legislation coming back end of this year, where you have to log all of your AI usage and how it's being used and how you manipulating data and making decisions. It's yeah, we all need to be responsible with that. So that was good to see. That was good to see, and that was a
Yeah, it
good
was good.
session at the end. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I actually got in the lift with one of the AI council and said good
I did.
morning, but it was of the morning. I didn't realize she was on it. So
That was a shame.
just simply said a good morning. If I'd have known, I would have had a bit more of a conversation. But
Deeper
hey ho,
conversation. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Okay.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll just dive straight into. We've split this up into sections, I suppose, analytics, integration, and science, with our key findings on the back. This is very much product driven and thinking about Qlik analytics. Majority of this will be SaaS based, as you would expect. These are from multiple sessions. So this is from the first session, from the sessions that Julian's went to,
Mhm.
the sessions that I've went to, and we've just basically brought our thoughts together. Again, caveat on this is some of this may not appear, some of this may be slightly different, etc., when it comes. But and where we know where these are going to be delivered and when they're going to be delivered, a lot of this is going to be delivered in July, but not all of it. So
Yeah.
again, once we know, we will be able to tell you a little bit more. But this is just the basic findings. So analytics, ClickSense itself will get a new interface, menu interface, which is quite cool. It's on the left-hand side and it's always appeared, always there, which is going to be different for your developers and different for the users as well. It's going to really help them move from area to area. A new Insight Advisor, as we know, Qlik has always been AI driven. Qlik's
Mhm.
been in AI has been embedded with Qlik for some 6, 7 years now, with the Insight Advisor. And if you're not using the Insight Advisor, please give us a shout and tell us why you're not. It's fantastic. It needs a little bit of training, but really good. But where that expands is it's going to have generative AI alongside it. So no longer, if you're using Insight Advisor, you know that you can ask a question: What are my sales this year? What are my sales last compared to last year? Give me a bar chart, give me a pie chart, etc. You can hook it up with Teams and all that kind of good stuff. But they're going to move that forward and take the results of that based off all the data that comes back and tell you something that you're looking at. So, did you realize that your sales last year were actually mainly dependent on this product, uh, in a descriptive way, which is amazing to see. That got a big round of applause, if I remember rightly, Julian, wasn't it? Everybody
Yeah.
was very excited about that because that's
Yeah.
that's real usage. So that imagine ChatGPT over the top of a question from Insight Advisor, basically. Um, um, Drag and drop styling. I think everybody's been asking for this for a long time. You'll be able to do one widget and another widget. You set one widget up. Why can't I just drag and drop a style, like you can in Word formatting or Excel or whatever else? So that was cool to see. Normally you have to do cut and paste, which takes time. Custom navigation. So currently on the left hand side you can do a show hide, section, and you have to do a bit of code for that and show hide. They're going to be removed, and you can have a widget, so you can have a menu system on the left. Folder and file structure for gateway. So what we mean by that is currently the gateway will be able to drags data out of your environment, SQL Server, etc., ODBC, and push it up to the cloud. They'll be moving that towards file structure. So if you're using the gateway, then that's for you. If you're using SAS, that's going to be really interesting for you. Tabular reporting to be on demand. So if you are using SAS, tabular reporting is like kind of the endprinting version of online. But the users will be able to initiate that endprint or that tabular report to be executed real time online themselves. So they're not waiting for the schedule. Something we've been asking for a long time, and this helps remove kind of or move people from endprinting into the cloud, is pixel perfect and mentioned cycling within reporting. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. If you know what it is, that's really important. Again, that got a big clap because we've been
Yeah,
waiting a long time for that.
we have. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's going to change the game of moving people.
yeah,
People are just waiting on and Julian on imprinting, of removing their imprinting install and going to the cloud.
yeah,
So that's going to help. Um, SAS advanced security rules. So security rules initially in SAS were really simple. They're making those more advanced, but not to the likes of QMC rules in Qlik sense. They're never going to go to that, but it's going to make it a little bit easier. Zamolorth, I think that's already released, isn't it, Julian? Zamolorth
yeah.
and
I
the
believe so.
Japanese region. Yeah,
Mhm.
so slightly behind the curve on that one, but it's worth noting. And anonymous access. So why do you need anonymous access to a SaaS environment? Well, this is a replacement for the product called QAP in Qlik, which essentially allows you to have access on it on your website, access as a portal, that kind of thing. And you don't need to log in because if you're just a member of the public, you want to see the bar chart that's rendered real time from embedded in your website, for example, or maybe you just have external suppliers, customers, etc., who want to come into Qlik and you don't want them to log in. Again, if that sounds interesting, come give us a shout. And then API tenant management. So from an external perspective, if you do use a lot of tenants or you've got this embedded in your product, what's really useful is to be able to control that within your own product. So if you're using Qlik to embed in your own product, for example, and we've got a product called Koyas, which does exactly that, um, being able to manage the tenants within your own product and have that as useful. But alongside that, what's more important I think to the most of the customers is sheet level telemetry. Again, we've been asking for this for a long time in the clicky world of I just want to know what people are clicking on and how long they're wandering, but what sheets they're looking at, what objects they're looking at while they're there. So that's any analytics questions. Oh, it's worth noting as you go through this, if there's any questions, I know you can't have audio for obvious reasons, but if you just put in the questions section in Zoom, we'll be monitoring that and we'll fit those in at the end. So if you do have any questions, I'd go and just give us a shout. Okay. So, Julian, was kind of what was your takeaway? I know that was just a bit of a list, wasn't it? What
It
was your
was.
kind of main takeaways of standing in all of those sessions, which were a lot of sessions,
Yeah.
and seminars, etc.
Well, I mean, my personal takeaway was that while we've got the AI and we've got the talent, which we'll come on to, it was just fantastic as a person who's been working with Qlik for 15 plus years to see that we're still investing in the base product. That
Mm,
was a key thing for me. We had this session with Patrick, which is detailed on the screen, and he laid out that the key objectives was really just to enable users to be able to create these fantastic dashboards really easily by simple control, styling elements. So, a similar summary of new functionality and some stuff that's already out there. So layout containers, if people haven't had the chance to look at those in SAS yet, I mean, they're almost like a game changer. Cyclical dimensions, anybody who's used ClickView years ago, that was a really cool piece of functionality, and that's one of the ones that everybody's been crying out for quite some time. That is actually out there already. There's some new stuff coming in, as Lee said, probably next month. Straight and pivot table changes. Just my overall view on it was they were almost taking it to be easier to produce beautiful dashboards, but also to some extent almost make those dashboards not look like they're Qlik,
Mm,
almost taking that ability off to say you can get, really sheet headers, legend styles, do all these things that suddenly almost make it look like a web page, right? But it's just looking Qlik, it's looking, it's based on the Qlik engine, etc. And it was just great to see. I mean, this was a standing room only session, and I don't over exaggerate that. I did get a seat, but there's probably another 50 or 60 people sat around, and these were like open areas, so you could do that. And there was a massive round of applause at the end because it's just going to make most people's life easier. And like I said, while we are looking at all these new things as well, this is the base. This affects the base of developers and users, and it was just great to see it. So, without going through a full list of everything that's in there, because frankly, it's massively
so much.
comprehensive, and I know you've done it.
Mm,
But you know, the great news, the takeaway is absolutely that. Qlik continues to invest in this area and just making the product even better of what's already a fantastic product.
and I like another show that, and I didn't go to that one by Patrick, but I went to another session which was the roadmap, which a lot of those items came before then,
Hmm.
of where they showed you a mocked up screen of, well, it wasn't a mock up, but it was a reskinned version of Qlik, and it didn't even look like Qlik. And I know we've done that
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
It takes a lot of coding. They've took that
yes,
away, and it's, yeah, you're
yeah,
no longer playing with purely style sheets. You're playing with more
yeah,
controls. So that
exactly
that
that.
that for me is was a big takeaway as well.
Yeah,
Cool,
massive.
great. So onto AI.
Mm,
This was the fantastic elements, wasn't it? This was AI, like you would expect. So we've
yeah,
already talked about the AI Council being there to help focus and move us forward. We have analysis in AutoML. So that's actually why you're doing your predictive. And if you're not familiar with this, this is doing predictive science, data science, directly in the SaaS product, directly into. You don't need to move your data. You can do those predictions directly in there to do your future predictions and forecasting. But having that analysis just come out the back of it when you start to do those predictions was a big improvement. New ML models with intelligent model optimization for you guys potentially doing this on the call or thinking about doing this. This just means that they've more in their kit bag. And it will swap them and change them in essence, and home those models for you automatically. So this is doing data science without any dating a scientist in essence, and making that more closer to having a data scientist. We've got lineage and impact analysis on your ML, which is fantastic. MLOps and drift. This allows you. So one of the big things that was missing was MLOps in Qlik. That's coming. So measuring your drift, so when your model moves, and having auditability, and also having approval workflow. So when you do change your models, you can send that off and have a separate independent approval process, which was great. That was good to see. Um, but I think from a in-depth perspective, I think you've done some real good takeaways here on this one, Julian, haven't you?
absolutely. Yeah.
On where Josh really kind of showed what it can do.
Yeah, and I think it was a really insightful session from Josh, because as a sort of delivery director, it's so important to me that these projects work. So he talked a lot about how, and actually it was initially marketed as 5 issues that can make or break an AI project. He threw a sixth in at the end, which was great. But he talked about these different issues and how you can deal with them. Because I say I'm all about outcomes on these projects, right? So and he identified, these areas. So like, things like no clear business objectives, understanding the importance of your data. You can see them all on screen. I won't necessarily read them all out. I've also put the screenshots at the bottom, but the fundamental thing for me was, just sense checking some of the things we do when we're engaging with our customers on AI projects to say, actually, is there anything we're missing when we're going about them? And we've got a sort of AI readiness assessment that we can do that covers off quite a few of these things. So things like,
Mm,
ensuring we've got, a clear business objective, understanding what the real problem is we're trying to solve, assessing the impact of solving that problem on the business, defining what success is and making it measurable. It's those type of things that we look to do and engage with a customer. Understanding the importance of your data. Is that data actually ready for AI? Are you ready for AI? And again, that's something we would do as part of our assessment. There's the risks and ethics which Lee alluded to a little bit earlier on as well with data, with this AI data now. We know there's things going on governmentally. We know there's, cases of people being sued and stuff like that. I think there's something going on at the moment with the media where somebody's voice is being used and, and et cetera, et cetera. And then also talking about, I guess, that split, Lee, between traditional AI
yeah,
and more of the generative type AI.
generative
So,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, so the
yes,
traditional being more of the sort of, quite sort of basic analysis,
predictive
looking,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and then
which has been
looking
around
more
for a while.
a
Everyone's
lot of
used it kind of.
years. Yeah,
It's been around for over 10 years
yeah.
in
Well, yeah.
reality. Yeah.
Well, actually, Josh mentioned on that he'd been talking to somebody earlier who'd done um, their American master's degree. I forget the exact terminology for it in AI 20 odd
Mm,
years ago, right? Because
wow.
it was looking
Okay.
more at the sort of machine learning type pieces and
Mm.
things like
I
that.
suppose technology is now catching up to allow us to do it for real, isn't it? So
Exactly, and push it
yeah,
forward.
and
Yeah,
push it
absolutely
forward. Yeah.
that. Yeah. So,
Yeah. But
and then
having
and
the
then
structure of pushing that out, I think, is the big takeaway here, isn't it? Is
yeah,
it is a business change project, isn't it? You're going to change processes of putting AI in your business, and
yeah.
yeah, that it was quite nice to see those aligned because we almost patted ourselves on the back, didn't we, here, Julian, of going, yeah, we kind of we
We,
model that
We've
process,
done
don't
this.
we?
Yeah,
Now
we've
it's
done this.
deployed.
We've done that. And even to the point of the last point that he threw in sort of at the end, which was around AI literacy. We all know there's a lot of fear. AI is going to come, it's going to take our jobs, it's going to take this, it's going to take that. What he was saying, and I agree with this, was very much actually what you need to do is learn to work with AI to
Yeah,
enhance your job, to make your job might change
easier.
slightly, but actually makes it
Mm,
easier, actually makes you more productive, more
yeah,
useful. It's that type of thing. So he talked about that. And again, at Catalyst, we have, data literacy and AI literacy courses that we can, teach people and we regularly engage with. So yeah, it was nice to again didn't go in to pat myself on the back, but it was nice at the end to go, well, do you know what? When we engage in that pre-engagement with an organization about an AI project, these are the things we're talking about.
mm,
These are the discussion points, whether it's with Lee on pre-sales, heading up pre-sales, whether it's with the account managers, whether it's with myself, we're having these conversations. These are how we want to framework the AI
yeah.
project. Yeah,
Okay, let's get going then. So,
yeah,
because this is the big one, isn't it, Julian?
yeah.
This
It
is the
is.
awesome
It
one.
is.
Qlik answers, and it's
Yeah.
coming in July.
Wow.
So, I've put that in bold, haven't we? Because we were promised this in July. Let's cross our fingers and hope it's going to come in
Yeah.
July. From what we
Yeah.
see, it's ready.
Yes.
I'd done a demo. I think you, Julian, you went and had a look at the demo.
Uh-huh.
They've got a stall there to do all of these demos that we've seen to make it real. But in essence, what is it? So, Qlik answers, what is it? Think, this is the easiest way of describing it. Think ChatGPT directly into your Qlik SaaS platform. Drag those PDFs and Word documents in, and it does the rest. And then your end users within Qlik directly can ask questions of that data set. So imagine that you've got, thousands of PDFs and you want to make sense of them. So you want to maybe you've got maybe you've got people on the telephone, the support mechanism or such, and you've got a knowledge base of PDFs, or you're supporting different product sets, and you've got that historic knowledge base of unstructured data, so what we call those Word documents or PDFs. Maybe you've got a lot of sales documentation, and you just want to summarize it. You want to find that information quickly, like you can in ChatGPT. You can answer that question just by typing or even speaking a real world sentence. So, we might, for example, look at producing a PDF scan of all of our projects that we've ever done and
Mhm.
deployed. And we say, we might give this to our team and say, have we ever done this project before? And how long
Yeah.
did it take? And what was the cost? And all that kind of good stuff. We can
Mhm.
just type that now. So we
Yeah.
no longer need to do a word search or yeah, a search across multiple different areas, file servers, etc. So that was the big takeaway of bringing that unstructured data, and it's going to be here and now. And this comes as part of the Kindi acquisition. So if you're not familiar with that, Qlik a few months back bought a company called Kindi, and they've just literally lifted and shifted that product into into Qlik, and they've done it extremely quickly. I'm quite surprised by that. Some stats on here. Everybody asks the same question: how many? How many? How many? The standard package will allow you to go to 25,000 pages. A page being an actual page in a PDF or a Word document. You can call it £25,000 a month, and that's the starting pack, which is a lot. Feels like a lot. Your 25,000 conversations every month, depending on how many you want to deploy. You can obviously buy more if you need to. Um, but this is the technical bit. You don't need an external vector DB. Now, with all of the products out there, so we also sell Data Robot, and so Data Robot does this very well as well. But you need to plug in different technologies.
Mm.
So you need to put in and for you guys who are maybe not technical, these different technologies are what they call vector DBs and LLMs and stuff like that. They're basically what Qlik is going to do is take all of where that technical element as they do, and just give you one cost to have Qlik answers. You set it up, you deploy it. If you're already in SaaS, you can start using it the next day. Once you've uploaded your documents, it needs a little bit of training and other bits, but away you go. And there's no other costs. Where other products out there, as we know, because we deliver Data Robot, we deliver Microsoft. You have to pay. You have to pay for OpenAI connectors and pay for tokens, and you don't know how much that's going to cost. And that goes away. So that was a real good win. That this got a round of applause. This was almost a standing ovation. People were literally standing up at this point, which is good to see. And it'll take data from the existing catalog. So if you've got text documents, PDF documents in your catalog as it is now, comes from 365, Dropbox, or the S3 bucket. Pricing on this one, I'd love to share it with you. We don't know yet. When we know, we'll have a demo with you if you're interested in this. We as a partner, we will be on the kind of the first release of this. So hopefully, if you are interested in this, and I think every customer who's on SaaS will be interested in this, we'll have a demo ready to go in pre-sales with hopefully with some pricing as soon as we can. Super. Anything to add on that, Julian? That was that
Uh,
because that was the main
it
push, wasn't it, of the
it
whole
was, and
seminar?
you stole my thunder a little bit there, Lee, because that was my
Shall we?
first point, right? So, no, no, not a problem at all. That was my first thoughts when I saw this and I saw it demoed. I thought, so I'll get asked that a lot as projects director. Have we ever done a project on this, and this? And you know what? I'm quite good at remembering them, but to think that we could just put this, and we have a customer structure in SharePoint. We hold all the statements of work we produce, the project highlight reports, the wrap up reports, everything that we do. And to think we could just point this at those and just almost, create this and ask those questions to it. You can see, like you said there, Lee, benefits even from our support desk even, and just
Yeah,
say, where we dealt with this. So, I mean, the use cases are absolutely endless. So if
infinite, aren't they? Yeah,
this is exciting, right? And you've got somebody who's been at this game 25 years getting excited. And Lee was, I sat with Lee, both
I'm a
like,
techie though.
yeah,
I love
I
tech.
know,
I
I
love
know.
tech. I love it. Yeah.
But even if you're not a techie, right? This didn't look overly difficult to use.
No,
It was literally point, click, press a button, let it work its magic, and you've got
and
something
that's what Qlik
working
does.
there.
You
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
in SaaS especially, it's
yeah.
low effort, isn't it?
It
So
is. Yeah,
they've
it
just
is.
enhanced that low effort, dragging and dropping tables and stuff, and
Yeah,
bringing that into the mix. It's
mhm.
exactly the same kind of thing. So
Yeah. No,
I'm just
absolutely.
conscious of time, so let's move on.
Yeah,
Um, if there are any questions, please do put them in.
yeah.
The next big one is integration. They've got an AI. So this is the essentially the QCDI elements of the SaaS platform. For you guys who are not using QCDI and you're using analytics only, this is an integration tool. So where Qlik is good at the ETL, this is both ETL and ELT in essence. So moving and shifting your data from one place to another, or moving and shifting your data into Qlik very quickly. But what is cool is that they've got an AI ready pattern. What that means is that you can bring unstructured data in. A lot of bump about that one. That's actually quite difficult to do.
Hmm.
So that they've got a pattern already, and what a pattern means is a template in essence to drag that data in. Um, and what got a lot of attention was the transformation assistant. So this is generative SQL generated in a pipeline. So when you're doing that pipeline, you want to connect to your data set. No longer do you need to generate that SQL from all your objects and tables, etc. You can actually just use ChatGPT kind of styling.
Yeah,
Can you give me all of my orders combined with my contacts, combined with my customers, and grouped by month, please? And it will write the SQL. And
yeah,
that was a bit of
yeah,
a oh. Now you
yeah.
can do this in ChatGPT to do the SQL here and now today,
Mm,
but it's not context based. It doesn't bring
no,
in your table names and your
yeah,
schema names. That
yeah.
that was pretty special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as I said to you, Lee, I come years ago doing a lot of ETL, and I saw this and just went, wow,
Wow.
because not
Yeah.
only does it write that SQL, it gave you the chance to review that SQL, so it wasn't a black box, and it also
Mm.
let you review the output, so you know what you're looking for. You can check it. Now, I've worked with a lot of SQL developers in the past. Some of them have got their own ways they like to write it, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But to be able to even take that as a base, it's going to save you 80 to 90% of your
So,
time just
so much
doing
time.
things, right?
Yeah. And reduces
Yeah,
the skill level, doesn't it, Julian?
it does, but it makes it
So
open to other people as well. And
yeah.
but the whole
Yeah.
fact, sometimes I've seen these type of things before, but it disappears into a black box, and you get a weird, erroneous result, and you don't know why. Whereas with this, you can see it, you can see what it's produced, you can run it, you can check the results, and you can go in and edit it. It's just,
It's,
yeah. I mean, this
yeah,
was
it's
just
another level,
brilliant.
isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. It really is.
Uh, And we've already mentioned moving that unstructured data into vector database. That's quite important for
Yeah.
data science.
Mhm.
If you know what that means, great. If you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Generative scanning, so you can connect to the likes of OpenAI to scan data as it's flowing through your
Mhm.
pipeline real time. And we sat back for the moment and everyone was kind of going, well, what's the point in that? And then there was a couple of examples. Imagine that you're just looking for erroneous data as it's passing through your integration, and you want to pick up erroneous data such as personal identification or identifiable information, GDPR kind of data. Um, it it can do this by using a generative chat GPT kind of interface,
Mhm.
but automate at the back end. So you don't have to code it. You don't have to look for kind of sets of data. You can back that off to OpenAI or the likes of OpenAI, and it'll just come back with a this looks dodgy, this doesn't. So where people can put in notes, for example, in your CLM ERP system, it can automatically scan those and those data sets. So that for me was a big wow. You could quite easily get lost in doing this in previous projects many moons ago. You can quite get easily lost into parsing data and go down a black hole. So that was a good one. For you guys using Talend, you got a new Talend Studio interface coming. And real-time streaming into Snowflake, that was a biggie as well. So if you are using Snowflake, if you're wanting to look at warehousing and you've got a need for moving a large amount of data quickly, that real-time streaming is going to be a game changer. So as well. So um, moving on, data quality for you guys. We're going back into this is the Qlik talent area now. So what it will come with is data quality directly in your catalog. So you guys familiar with SaaS, you've got a catalog. Underneath that, you get, and you can see it on the screenshot there, you get what they're calling a data marketplace. So your end users you can roughly see it on here. You can get a score, and you can get a trust score. And a trust score is automatically generated, and then the score which is generated by your users. So no longer that you have to search for particular data sets, understand where your QVD layer is and all that kind of good stuff. Those can be already pre-canned, pre ready to go. Arguably, that's already there now with the catalog, which it is, but you don't really know whether it is there and what's lineage and where it's come from, and can you trust this data, which is very important when you're building a Qlik app, yeah, especially if you're doing data science. So that's a new element in data quality. So that's bringing the talent element of data quality, but first, really surfacing it in SaaS. So that's a big change. Um, and Julian, from
Yeah,
a
and
trust score perspective,
I like this. I like trusted data. So, going back to Mike's Capone's comment at the start about that sort of trusted data platform to support AI, they've put together this trust score for AI in the talent product, calculated across 6 dimensions. They didn't go into too much detail about the actual, the basis of the calculation, but essentially, as you can see on the image on the right, you basically get your trust score to get a feel for, are we ready? Is this data fit to be used for AI? Have we got some issues? So, say across diversity, security, timeliness, etc. But again, just conscious of time without talking about this one too much. I just like this thinking,
it's
this
dashboard, isn't
forward
it? Out the
thinking,
box
and yeah,
dashboard. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Point your data, the data quality, and it tells you whether you can trust it without doing
yes,
anything as an organization.
exactly.
And it gives
Yeah,
you a nice click dashboard on the back of it. Wow.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
by the way, that dashboard on the right was using the new styling components, apparently.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you can see it doesn't look like Qlik. So
Yeah.
okay. And then the platform kind of big takeaways on the platform. It's a as we know, everybody on the call, I'm sure we know, end-to-end data analytics is a foundation. They we've already got that. It's already there. It's SaaS first, but not SaaS only was the big takeaway. The
Mhm.
client managed apps will be maintained and developed. However, and this was the big takeaway, ClickView and imprinting will cease to move into feature richer. So they're not going to add any additional features into ClickView and imprinting moving forward. We'll go into bug fix, security fix only. So what we're seeing here is a very clear movement of click sense. If you're the majority of your customers, I would probably say 98% of our customers are click sense, and even the click view customers are already using sense. So sense is absolutely solid that they're going to moving that forward. But where I think that the words of sunsetting and retiring were never used because they're not. They're just putting them into kind of maintenance mode, essentially, click view and implementing. This, Julian, we've still got a lot of customers using click view and implementing, so they ain't gonna remove that anytime soon. But
No, no.
just you're not going to see anything new. So all of the good stuff we've seen is a lot of that is ClickSense and ClickSense SaaS or Click, sorry, Click Talent Cloud. I must remember
Mhm.
to stop calling it Click SaaS now. Um, and then you pulled us this one out, Julian, didn't you? What was
Absolutely.
this
Just
about?
just again, we as a company do a lot of delivery into the legal base, got a lot of legal firms. So it was just nice to bring out a session I went to that wasn't delivered by the vendor.
The
And
client, yeah,
actually, yeah, a use case one, and this guy was very professional. Andrew Bilbrey, I think you pronounce it. I think he got an MBA and things like that. Came across very, very much as a strong consultant. But again, I just wanted to just double check within legal that again we were following all the right practices. And again, I came out thinking that we had, but this is useful for anybody, whether it's legal or non-legal. That he was calling out that need for executive sponsorship, how important user adoption is. You can deliver the best project ever, but if nobody uses it, I always like an analogy to a car. If you put the Ferrari on somebody's drive, but what they need is a pickup truck because they've got 6 kids and they need to go to the supermarket every week. It doesn't get used, and it's
yeah,
just, it's eye candy really. So, user adoption being so important. And he was talking as well, and I've had this with legal firms before that partners, etc., so busy, so focused on what they need to do with their different matters, law cases, etc., that every piece of information on dashboard should be actionable. So everything's got like a call to action on it. There's a reason for it being there. Interestingly, as well, he talked about the initial prototype, should be in front of stakeholders within 2 weeks. And we know that, Lee, from our engagements with some of the
yeah,
customers we had
that
on
fits
here.
well.
If you
Yeah,
disappear off for 4 6 weeks,
yeah,
sometimes some of that energy is lost, and it's just
yeah.
great to do that. And
I
then,
I was I was with a client yesterday, and it's exactly the same. We talked
yeah,
about that lighthouse project that you need to get out quickly and start using the benefits, so the
yeah,
board and your
absolutely.
management team and everyone can see the value of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Can't
And
agree
final,
more with all of that. Yeah,
Yeah, final thing there is just that constant evaluation and improvement. So you'll see this with us. We'll deliver you a project and we might talk to you, and it might not lead to another project straight away, but all the time, we just how's it going? People
mm,
using it, we'll push things like that. So just fed back in really to, just
the way
belt
we
and
operate.
braces and how
Yeah,
we're delivering things is matching
yeah.
to how people are putting those sort of exemplar projects out there.
Great,
So
great, great stuff. And that's wow, that's it. That went
Mhm.
quick for us.
Bang on
Hopefully, it
time,
went for
really.
you guys. Um, if you any more
Yeah.
questions, please put them in now. We've
Mm,
got one or two.
mhm,
So we've got. I can't see who they're from, so
mm,
apologies. Costings of answers. I think we said it. We don't know yet. I can't. We know ish how much, I think, but we can't
mm,
disclose that yet. So we'll come back to you on that one. Other one is timeline on answers. Yeah, it's going to come in July,
mhm.
at some point in July. We don't know exact dates yet. There was a date mentioned, but I don't mention it on here. That somebody was mentioned out. But yeah, it'd be kind of mid July. But again, once we know more, we'll be able to test it, and the same with the talent elements as well. Once we've got all of those ready and the integration elements ready, and bringing that unstructured data in, we'll have a Noel and myself, and then the team will bring a demo together and have a session like this, more of an open session or even a one-to-one session. Um, Great. And we answered that one. Yeah, great. I think we've answered everything really. I think, yeah, I think big takeaways though, Julian, kind of one of your big takeaways.
I've got to say, fundamentally, obviously, the two product releases were great to see. As I've already said, to see them still investing in the key product and moving that forward, fabulous to see. But overall, I've got to be honest, the thing for me was it's very, very well organized conference. Just
Mm,
being in the room with fellow clickies, as we call us, just was also absolutely fantastic because the buzz and the energy is there. There's a lot of people on this call who use a product and will know how much they enjoy it. So that was a massive thing for me. Just that energy that came out, the direction of where we're going, the direction of travel was just, yeah, fantastic for me.
yeah, and finally, we'll finish with my thoughts, which was kind of we'll summarize. AI, 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 and I think there was a strapline used of data being an opportunity. It absolutely is. Data being the new oil. That kind of saying's been around for quite a few years now. But it is. It's. I love the fact that they're now bringing unstructured data into the mix, so you can get that. You don't have to have organized data. You can just bring it from flat files. It is absolutely brilliant. Or flat files and PDFs and Word documents. So that is absolutely fantastic. We just had another question come in. Will the UI changes affect apps based on Bislib extensions? Can this be tested? Very good question.
Mm,
Honestly, I don't know.
mm,
Yes, it probably will. They are currently style sheets, and Bislib uses the style sheets
yeah.
and cascading style sheets, i.e., this is black, this is yellow, this is green, whatever, the sizing and the border sizing. It shouldn't.
Mhm.
And Vislib or Inform software, as they are known now, develop their products really well. So I don't think so. But if it does, then they'll be able to change that pretty quick because they're pretty good at getting that quickly done. So that was just an answer that came in just at the end. But yeah, I think answer's fantastic. Unstructured data and bringing unstructured data in, big changes, and you can see where Qlik are going with their ecosystem. Bringing data in no matter where it is and what it is, and allowing you to analyze it is where we're going. Brilliant. Well, there's no more questions. Then we shall leave it at there. But watch the space and please link into us. We've got
Mhm.
the QR code, so point your cameras at that if you're not already linked into us. Sign up for our newsletter as well, which will bring a more. Sorry, it's not a newsletter. It's called something else, but it's a
Uh,
monthly roundup of information. I'm going to get my hand slapped by marketing. Sorry, Becky. And
Is it a business brief? It's called something like that.
this, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But basically, a summary of what's going on in the
yeah.
marketplace and what we're doing as Catalyst. So, if you're interested, sign up for that. We will be launching this early July, hopefully sooner. Of a demo of Click Answers. I know I want to get my hands on it, and like half of the team do. So, yeah, perfect. So we'll leave it there. But thank you for your time and patience today, and yeah, have a good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Cheers now. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Cheers. Bye.
Cool. Brilliant.
Mm.
Good. I like that.
Well,
There was a few. There wasn't enough questions, so I had them pre-canned just
mm,
to
mm.
yeah. Um, I need to stop the recording. Thought it's finished. Stop recording.